dare I say, best win of the season maybe for the Phils? Maybe best win of the season, because that was a hell of a comeback, especially when you thought it was over as soon as the Rays hit that 3-run shot off of Tanner Banks to make it a 5-1 ball game. And I will get into that eventually because I also have a lot of question marks about Rob Thompson's decision-making in today's game. But your bats stepped up. Bryson Stott, especially with the huge 3-run shot. I'm still sitting here in awe, just wondering how the hell Trey Turner's ball did not go over the fence, because off the bat, I thought that ball was crushed. T-Mac, the broadcast crew, they thought that ball was long gone. No, it just dies right at the warning track, and they have to review it because the left fielder for the Rays, in and out of the glove, and you can't tell if the ball hit anything over the fence to even confirm it was a home run. Sadly, it wasn't. It just ended up being a double. That sucked. Because I thought Trey crushed it. But the Phillies, they kept battling. Kyle Schwarber lately extended his on-base streak in the 9th after, going hitless in the entire game. He just extended it with a bloop single. You pinch run him for Johan Rojas. Pitcher throws a wild throw over the first. Johan eventually gets the third. Nick Castellanos walks. Max Kepler, a very long at-bat. Just get the ball in play. Maybe something happens. That's exactly what happened. And you tie the ball game up. Good defense, actually, in the bottom of the 9th inning. Trey Turner holding some base runners on. Actually, just in few, just good defense by Bohm, good defense by Trey Turner. Just good stuff all around. Good throw by JT Realmuto as well. And you get into the 10th. You get some runs. You actually score multiple runs and extras. And then Matt Strahm, he allows a run. It had to get scarier than it needed to be with 2 outs. But he got the save. He got the job done. And that revolves into a Philly sweep of the Tampa Bay Rays. I predicted it. Now, that prediction definitely was not feeling well after the Rays hit the 3-run shot. But, I could say I called it. Didn't probably shape out the way I was expecting it to. I thought Jesus Luzardo was going to dominate in this game. Sadly, I don't think that was the case because he was very shaky command-wise, getting into a lot of full counts. Granted, he only allowed 2 earned runs in this game. Didn't go deep enough for my liking. Was not able to get past the 6th inning. Pitch count was very high. Just like I said, there's a lot of full counts. Basically, kind of the similarities with Christopher Sanchez's outing last night. Not the best. It wasn't terrible by any means, but just not best to his standards. But still, the Phillies were in a position to stay within the ball game. It was a 2-1 Rays lead, I think, at that point when Luzardo came out of the ball game, and then Rob Thompson went to his very confusing bullpen options. You got lucky with Hernandez getting 2 strikeouts out of the pen. Tanner Banks didn't work. Tanner Banks did not work in a 1-run game. Oof. Jesus. But before we get into the rest of tonight, everybody, if you are new to the channel, I recommend you hitting that subscribe button. It will do me such a great deal of service. You can also drop a like and leave a comment in the comment section down below. Love to interact with you guys there. Also, you can use the code TTPSPORTS, $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. It is a great deal. Do not pass it up. And then you can also follow at TTP Sports on TikTok and Instagram for all the other good content. So, Phillies, they finish off the sweep of the Tampa Bay Rays. They win by a score of 7-6. So that's what, like 4 or 5 straight games of the Phillies scoring 7 or more runs. Took a little bit longer than it needed to in this game because the offense was basically dead for the first 7 innings. And then from the 8th inning on, the offense really exploded. The score, 6 more runs in this game. But better late than never. You finish off the sweep. That was something that we were asking as Phillies fans, because you have been winning a lot of series as of late, but we were just looking for you to finish off a sweep for once. You win the series against the Cubs, you win the series against the even though the Cubs, you weren't in a position to sweep that series, you had to win the final 2 games to win it. But with the Nationals, you were in a position to sweep, you couldn't. With the Diamondbacks, you were in a position to sweep and you couldn't. And thankfully, you got the job done here against the Tampa Bay Rays. So good on you. Good on you for getting that sweep off. And just continue riding this momentum, because for majority's sake, the offense has been looking a lot better, minus Bryce Harper. Because even though Bryce Harper did look good in yesterday's ball game, did not look good today. He had a chance to extend the lead in the extras, and he swung and missed at a pitch right down the dick of the plate. Yeah, pretty ugly at bat there from Bryce. Just not gonna lie, not gonna lie. Um, but yeah, it was basically a win I didn't expect coming from this team, especially after Banks allowed the 3-run shot. And let's just go over this game, because looking some of the stat lines from today overall, Jesus Luzardo threw a lot of pitches in this game, 5 1/3, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, 1 home run allowed on 105 pitches. Command was just all over the place from him. Really just was that. Then you look at the bullpen options. Hernandez struck out 2 with 2 base runners on. I was shocked to get out of that 6th inning. You got a break there. Then Tanner Banks. Tanner Banks wasn't the option. Tanner Banks was not the option in a 1-run game when you were still having a chance to come back into the ball game. He allows a couple of base runners. I still don't understand why he was in there to face Diaz, lefty-righty matchup. I don't understand that whatsoever. And that comes back to bite you in the ass, because Diaz hits a 3-run shot the other way. And that puts the Rays up 5-1. So that was very questionable. I'm not sure why you're bringing in your low leverage arms in a high leverage situation, because it's a 1-run lead for the Rays. You know, I just don't understand it, in my personal opinion. What didn't make sense, but okay. Romano eventually comes in for the 8th inning. He allowed 2 hits, and this was the inning where Trey Turner prevented another run from scoring, which really helped out the Phillies coming back into this ball game as well. Same thing with Alec Boehm. He also prevented a run, making a really good defensive play in this ball game in that same inning as well. Alvarado got off to a shaky start, but then a good, came back in the at-bat against Diaz when he went down 3-0 in the count. Came back, made it full count, strikes out Diaz, and then JT Realmuto throws an absolute dart to second base to get the runner out at second, trying to steal. It was very close. Umpire called it out on the initial play. Rays decided the challenge. The play was very close and a little probably too close to overturn. Really not much info to call the runner safe, so thankfully the call stayed, and then Alvarado got out of the inning, thankfully. Started off shaky, finished off very strong, also thanks to JT's defense. And then Matt Strahm in that bottom of the 10th inning allowed a couple of hits, allowed an unearned run to score because of the ghost runner. Got shaky for no reason with 2 outs, but he managed to get the job done. 2 strikeouts and 18 pitches for Matt Strahm. We'll get to the lineup in a little bit, but looking at the overall of today's game, Phillies, they do get on the board first. Bryson Stott with a leadoff double. Trey Turner then flies out, which advances Stott over to third base, and then Bryce Harper with a productive at-bat gets a sacrifice fly, brings home Bryson Stott. You have a 1-0 Phillies lead. But then bottom of the 1st inning, after Luzardo gets the first 2 outs, allows a home run to Caminero, becomes a 1-1 game. Top 2nd inning, Phillies don't do anything after a Kepler walk. JT Realmuto unsurprisingly grounds into an inning double play. Top 3rd, another double play. Bohm singles, Marsh lines into a double play. Bohm gets doubled off, so that's kind of very unfortunate there. Bottom 3rd, this is when the Rays get another run on the board. Walls leads off with a single. He eventually steals second base on a flyout by Diaz. He advances over to 3rd. Morel then walks, and then Caminero hits a sacrifice fly to give the Rays a lead. Top 4 for the Phillies, they go down 1, 2, 3. Top 5 for the Phillies after a 2-out walk by GT, nothing happens. Top 6, the Phillies go down 1, 2, 3. Bottom 6, this is when Luzardo gets into trouble and has to come out of the ball game. Luzardo first gets the first out, then he walks a guy, and then he allows a single, so 2 back-to-back base runners. Rob decides to go to the bullpen. This is when Luzardo's pitch count goes over 100. You bring in Hernandez, which I was very surprised. But then he struck the next 2 batters out, which was also very surprising. So you got lucky there. Got very lucky. Top 7 for the Phillies. They go down 1, 2, 3. Bottom 7 for the Rays. Banks in the game allows an infield single. Then he gets the 2nd out. And then a bunt single happens, which you got 1st and 2nd. And then still, for some reason, which I don't understand why he's in the game, Banks, that is, to face Diaz on the lefty-righty matchup. Diaz makes you pay with the 3-run shot. Becomes a 5-1 Rays lead. And then you go to the top of the 8th, where everything gets crazy. Everything gets crazy. Kepler leads off with a ground out. JT singles, and then Bohm grounds into a fielder's choice. So you got 2 outs, but a base runner on for Brandon Marsh. he singles. And then Bryson Stott just fucking locked in a 1-2 count, got a pitch that he liked on the inside of the plate, and he fucking murdered it. He fucking murdered it, destroyed it, sent it to Timbuktu. Ball's gone, 3-run shot. It's a 5-4 Rays lead, and all of a sudden it's a ball game again. Here come the Phillies. And then Trey Turner. I thought he got all of this, man. I thought he got all over this. Yeah, like, seriously, it sounded so good off the bat that T-Mac thought it was long gone. And then the ball just died right at the warning track. And thankfully, you know, Morel, I think it was Morel out in left field, wasn't able to corral it the entire way. And it became a double. Sadly, there just wasn't enough evidence to prove that the ball was over the wall or anything like that. But I thought it was gone, man. The swing was sweet. Everything. It's just like, come on, man. Just give him some luck. Just give him some freaking fortune. You got the freaking short porch out in right field. Why can't it carry over the fucking left? Goddamn Yankee Stadium freaking proportions of this stupid ballpark. Stupid damn ballpark. It can't give Trey Turner a goddamn home run when he freaking barrels up the ball. Goddamn. Goddamn. So Turner with the double. Rays go to the bullpen, and then Bryce Harper fails to bring in the runner. He grounds out. Bottom 8 for the Rays, with Romano out there on the mound. Leadoff single, then he gets the next 2 guys to line out. Then an infield single happens. That's when Trey Turner really prevented the run from scoring with a, sliding very deep into the shortstop hole. Prevent the ball from going into the outfield, and really prevented a run from scoring, which probably would have screwed over the Phillies in that process. So good on Trey Turner for preventing that. And then Romano eventually got out of the inning. No harm, no foul. Then you go top 9. Schwarber finally extends his on-base streak. Bloop single. Then Rojas comes into the game to pinch run. A couple of pickoff attempts where the ball goes into the outfield because of a not even a bad throw. The first baseman just fucking missed it. It was right on the dime right there, just like, boop. Just went right by him. Rojas then uses his speed to get to third base. Probably didn't realize the ball got away initially, because if he realized the ball got away initially, he would have been the third without even contest. Got a little bit close, but he was still safe, obviously. So we got third base, no outs. Nick Castellanos battling in his at-bat, and then he works a walk. It was a pretty long at-bat for Nick Castellanos as well. It was a 9-pitch at-bat after going down 1-2 in the count, so good at-bat from him. Kepler, a very long bat as well, and this is with Fairbanks on the mound, who hasn't blown a save this year for Tampa Bay. He's basically been their best pitcher of the entire season. You make him blow the save, because Kepler battles in his at-bat, draws at the 3-2. He just puts the bat on ball, and allows a run to score because of it, because he hit it into a very awkward part of the infield where the shift just wasn't there. Good play by the third baseman to keep it in the infield, but it doesn't prevent the run from scoring. Phillies tied the ball game up, thankfully. But then JT Realmuto struck out, and then Alec Bohm grounded out. So Phillies did not take the lead in the 9th inning. Alvarado, thankfully, good throw by JT Realmuto, and good on Alvarado for battling back in the bat against Diaz, and then he eventually technically gets a 1-2-3 inning to force extras. Then you go top 10. Brandon Marsh against the bullpen. First pitch swinging, just put the ball where it's thrown, and inside-out swing, puts it into the outfield for a double. Scores a run. Sosa was in the ballgame for Bohm as the ghost runner. He scores. Phillies make it 6-5. Bryson Stott with a beautifully placed sacrifice bunt allows Marsh to go over the third base. Then Trey Turner singles through the shift as the defense is playing in, gets it through the hole. Another run scores because of that. It becomes 7-5 Phillies. During the Bryce Harper at bat, strikes out on the pitch right down the dick of the plate. Trey Turner eventually steals second base. Johan Rojas can't do anything else. The inning ends. Then you go bottom 10. Strahm out there on the mound. Caminero flies out, which advances the ghost runner over to third base, and then he strikes out Jankowski in a very uncompetitive at-bat. Very good pitches there by Strahm. But then Jansen, first pitch swinging singles to drive home the ghost runner to make it a 7-6 game. And then Simpson just literally throwing the barrel of the bat out there. Just prays for a single, and he gets it through the middle. And it's first and second now. And you're getting a little bit more stressful because Caballero is up, and he was swinging a more hot bat in the end of the game. Thankfully, Strahm won the battle and overpowered him with a fastball up in the zone and got the save. Phillies win the ball game, 7-6. Always nice. Looking with the lineup today. Bryson Stott, a fantastic game, 2 for 4 with a 3-run shot. Also the beautiful sacrifice bunt in the extras. Trey Turner went 2 for 5. He had a double in this game. His average is up to 310, and his slugging percentage is finally over 400. It's not 401. His on base is also at 376. Good game by Trey Turner. Bryce Harper, he had the sacrifice fly, but really nothing else besides that. Over 4. His average is at 236 still, on base at 357. That slugging is just dropping and dropping and dropping for Bryce. It's at 414. Kyle Schwarber finally late extended his on base streak to however much it is at now. 1 for 4 in this game. Rojas came in, scored that run. He went 0 for 1 in his lone at bat. Nick Castellanos, he went 0 for 3, but he had the walk in that 9th inning. Max Kepler, he went 0 for 3, but he had the force out, which scored the game-tying run in that 9th inning, so good at bat there by Kepler. JT, he went 1 for 3 with a walk. Alec Boehm, he went 1 for 4. Edmundo Sosa, pinch runner, obviously in the extras. Brandon Marsh, 2 for 4 with an RBI. Good on him. Good on him. And Phillies, as a team with runners in scoring position, they went 3 for 9, and they left 4 runners on base. The guys that got the hits today, Trey Turner, Brandon Marsh, and Bryson Stott with runners in scoring position. Overall, good stuff. Overall, by the Phils. Good stuff overall by the Phils. They finished off the sweep like we were always asking them to in the past few series, and they managed to do it just in very not ideal circumstances, having to come back down at a 4-run lead in the last 2 innings, basically. But they got the job done. They got the job done. That's the most important thing. And now you go off into a high note going into Cleveland this weekend. So if we're just looking at the past few series with this Phillies squad basically going since getting swept by the New York Mets, they won the series against the Cubs. They won the series against the Nationals. They won the series against the Arizona Diamondbacks, and they swept the Tampa Bay Rays. So that's 4 series wins in a row, and that's basically in your last 12 games. You are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You're 9 and 3. You're 9 and 3 in your last 12 games. That is a pretty good stretch so far by this Phillies squad. Probably their best stretch of the season. They're playing a lot better baseball. Still, some things are not pretty, obviously, but they're playing a lot better. And I do think a lot of that, Bryson Stott has been fantastic in the leadoff spot, especially with today's game. Trey Turner has been much better at the plate lately as well. He just continues to find ways to get hits, and now maybe he's mixing in some extra base hits, so hopefully that power just continues to slowly come along. Kyle Schwarber is going to be Kyle Schwarber. If Alec Boehm can just find some confidence in his swing, he has been hitting a lot more lately, so there's something there. It does sound like they're going to be interchanging Brandon Marsh and Johan Rojas in the lineup over the course of this stretch because they're going to be seeing a lot of right-handed pitching. So you got to get both of those guys some playing time. So we'll see what happens with that. JT, can't really expect much from him offensively. If he contributes offensively, that's a bonus. Kepler, he sees a lot of pitches. That's one of the things I'll give Kepler credit for. He does see a lot of pitches. It's like Bryson Stott, kind of. He just sees a lot of pitches, and he just makes the pitcher work. And sometimes he rewards himself with a good hit. He's been solid for you. He hasn't been anything dreadful. He hasn't been anything fantastic. He's been a solid player for you. That's probably what everyone expected him to be, a solid player. And Nick Castellanos, he'll have his bad games, and he'll have his good games. So that's basically what you got to expect from a Nick Castellanos. Really, the only guy that's not doing much in the lineup is Bryce. Even though he did have a good game yesterday, he's just overall still not having good at-bats. So basically, if you're trying to find some just hope from that Sunday performance against the Diamondbacks where he did have the home run, right now you're just got to throw that off as a fluke right now because Bryce still does not look, I don't want to say he doesn't look invested. He just looks in his own head. He looks like he's in his own head. He's just so far gone right now, and he's really trying to swing himself out of this bad stretch, this slump that he's in. He's really trying to swing himself out of it, and I do think eventually he will get himself out of it, but it just feels like right now he's an automatic out for most situations, and he's not coming up as clutch as you would expect him to. That's really something that's just very off with Bryce. Like the clutch at bats just aren't there. He just puts up ugly at bat after ugly at bat when it comes to clutch situations, and he needs to find a way to get himself out of that funk. It's just not pretty. It's just not pretty. Trey Turner looks like he's figuring something out here at the plate. It's looking a lot better at the plate lately. If Trey can do it, Bryce, you got to figure it out, man. You got to figure it out. So many people were shitting on Trey Turner, and it looks like he's figuring out something here. You got to figure something out. You've got to figure something out, man, because if Bryce finds a way to lock in and he can play like the Bryce Harper we all know he's capable of, you're playing a lot better, especially with the way the bats have been swinging the bats lately. You're winning a lot more games. And granted, they're winning a lot of games over this stretch without Bryce Harper doing much. But just imagine if he was on a tear that we know he can go on. It's just something you got to think about. It's something you got to think about. Now, do I think, because there was some discussions over that course as well, that Bryce really, I would say, some people brought, I think it was on WYP, I was probably listening to Brodes' show on, I think it was after the weekend or something like that, just talking about Bryce Harper. And I think it was one of the callers talking about, maybe this is just like, maybe MVP Bryce Harper isn't there. And maybe he's just not there anymore. This is more on the less of who Bryce Harper is now. And I don't think I buy that. And granted, there's no defense, and you really can't bring up anything with the way that he's playing right now. A lot of people bring up his age and everything like that, and the way that he swings because his swing is so violent. I just don't think at 32 years old, you're just all of a sudden washed. I don't think Bryce Harper's washed. And I don't think they were saying he's washed. They're just saying MVP Bryce isn't in there anymore. I still think he has it in him. I still think he's just for some reason so far gone in his head right now that right now it just feels like he just isn't going to overcome it. He's just like, and that goes back to a discussion where Bryce probably should have a day off or two just to clear his mind, even though Bryce is not going to allow that because he probably wants to swing himself out of the struggles. It's just, sometimes you got to do what's best for and more times than not this year, Bryce has been more of a detriment to the team in the batter's box. He really has been. Because right now, players that are performing in the batter's box is Kyle Schwarber. He has been doing that all year. Bryson Stott has been doing it more times than not from the leadoff spot because he has been very good there. Trey Turner, in the past few weeks, basically since this stretch has been really going on, he's been really figuring it out here. And maybe that approach change that they're trying to work with him, and what Rob Thompson brought up, I believe it was a few series ago, with him really just trying to focus on averages and just getting on base and utilizing his speed on the base paths, it looks like something's working here. Bryce is really the only guy that really hasn't fully figured it out yet. Granted, Bohm hasn't either, even though he's been hitting the ball a lot more lately. Like I said, you're gonna get a hot version of Castellanos. You're gonna get the cold version of Castellanos. That's just what the Castellanos experience is. Kepler's just a solid guy for you. He's gonna have his good moments. He's gonna have his quiet moments. That's what Max Kepler is. That's what his quality of player is. You really need Bryce in this lineup. You really do. To fulfill the full potential of this lineup, you need Bryce going. You need Bryce going. And like I said, I think eventually he'll figure it out and snap out of the funk. But sometimes, if something just lingers a little too long, there's going to be a lot of question marks, man. There's going to be a lot of question marks, and Bryce really needs to figure it out. He really does. He really, 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 really does. So, now, looking ahead to the Guardians series, tomorrow, be a 7-10 matchup. I'm not sure how I'm going to work with the recaps with this series because Sunday will definitely, I'm definitely not counting on a recap for Sunday because I will be in New York for Mother's Day on Sunday. So, and obviously that game's also a ESPN Sunday Night Baseball game. So I'm not sure how that's going to work. Maybe I can recap on the time. That depends on when I get home. So I'll throw that in the air. I won't put it as a definite. Not recapping it. We'll just put it up in the air right now. Tomorrow and Saturday, I'm still debating on because maybe we'll do the whole weekend as a whole after Sunday's game because tomorrow, obviously Friday Night SmackDown, also Sunday is Backlash for WWE, and I would like to focus on that. So maybe we'll just do this entire series as a whole on Sunday. I'm not entirely sure. We'll just have to play it by ear. But pitching matchup-wise, Aaron Nola's on the mound tomorrow. Hopefully he can build off of his past two starts because the past two starts have been the best version of Aaron Nola this season. So let's see if he can continue to do that. He's going up against Gavin Williams. Gavin Williams, he is 2-2 with a 5.06 ERA. In his past 4 starts, he has given up 13 runs. So we'll see if the Phillies can figure out a way to continue to get him to struggle. Then Saturday, Ranger Suarez, not the best debut. We'll just pray that he can have a good start on his second start. He's going up against Tanner Beebe, 3-2 with a 4.26 ERA. And then on Sunday Night Baseball, it's Zach Wheeler going up against Luis Ortiz. So we'll see. It's definitely a series that the Phillies can most likely win. If we're looking at Cleveland, where their record is, they're 22-15. They're just coming off of a series win against the Washington Nationals, and Cleveland definitely has been playing a lot better baseball as of late. They won the series against the Nationals. They won a series against Toronto. They won a 4-game series against Minnesota after losing a series against the Boston Red Sox. So they've won their last 3 series. So they're definitely coming into this hot. And last year, they won a series in Philadelphia. And I think the past 2 years, the Phillies have had problems with Cleveland. So we'll see where that takes them. We'll see overall. And then after that series, obviously they come back home, the Phillies that is, and they play St. Louis and Pittsburgh, and then the rest of the schedule, blah, 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 for the month of May. So we'll see. We'll see. The next Phillies day off is not until between the Cardinals and the Pirates series. So we'll see where that takes them. We'll see where that takes them. But let's see if you can just get another series win and put up try to get 2 more wins, win this series against Cleveland. You have a good road trip. If you could have this road trip at 5-1, that'd be a very good road trip. A fantastic road trip. If you could find a way to win this series against Cleveland. So we'll see where that takes them. Because playing a lot better baseball. And I hope they can just continue to build off of it and get more feel-good wins. That's what I want to see from this ball club. More feel-good stuff. Let's see. I see from freaking Talking Baseball, Phillies broadcast thought Trey Turner hit this ball to the moon. Everybody did. Literally everybody did. I don't know how that ball just freaking died at the wall, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. What else is there? Anything else on the Twitterverse following this Phillies game? Oh yeah, Andrew Painter also made his AAA debut. It was very good for 2 innings, and then his 3rd inning, he got into a lot of command issues. He walked 3 straight batters to load the bases with 2 outs, but he eventually got out of that jam unscathed. So he went 3 innings. He allowed 3 walks, I think a couple of hits. And let's see, where is his full stat line? I know I posted it somewhere. Andrew Painter, so I can find that full stat line. Where is that full stat line? Here we go. He went 3 innings, allowed 1 hit, no earned runs, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts on 34 pitches. And here's the full recap of Phillies tailgate. Phillies pitcher. Well, Andrew Painter's AAA debut was over after 60 pitches. His fastball topped at 98.3 in the 1st inning, and he had 8 in swings and misses tonight. He had a lot of swings and misses for strikeouts on that curveball. That curveball was really working, but then when you got into that 3rd inning, especially with the 2 outs, he just lost the command of the off speed. Really lost it, but overall I think it was a solid AAA debut, and we'll just see how he builds off that. And Painter said he thought it was a good start, would have loved to gone out for the 4th, worked myself out of the jam at the end of the day, can't complain about that. So yeah, they're definitely going to be taking their little bit of a slow time here with Painter down there in AAA, which they really should. But overall, it was fun watching him in AAA. I believe it was like the free game on MILB.TV or something like that. So it was fun to watch. Overall, it was fun to watch as my cat is playing with a toy. I don't know what she found. Did she find her mouse? Yep, she found her mouse. Someone brought her mouse up for her. Oh boy, she is going crazy. She is going crazy. We do have a couple of voicemails here on the Anytime Hotline, so we might as well get to those before we wrap it up and get to some of you guys here in the chat. Let's get to Steven. We got Steven and Sean here. Let's get to Steven first before wrap it up with Sean. Turn that on so I don't forget anything.
Hey, Amadeo. That was pretty wild, dude. I mean, they get to sleep here tonight. It definitely didn't come easy. I mean, they get your blood pressure going up, man, but they get a sweep here, man. I think it's only their second sweep of the year, but they'll take that. They've won now, 9 of their last 11 games, and they're just really hot right now. And the offense battled tonight. Luzardo battled tonight. Definitely wasn't their best game play tonight. I mean, Harper is still just looking hideous at the plate at times, but I mean, I can't really complain, man. They got a really good win tonight, and it was a really good sweep, and now they go on to Cleveland, and hopefully they can take down them.
Yeah, hopefully. If you get a series win here in Cleveland, that wraps up a really good road trip. If you can go 5-1 on this road trip, that'll be fantastic, in my personal opinion. Very fantastic. I'm not going to demand a sweep in Cleveland because Cleveland is a 20 billion times better team than what Tampa Bay is. But if you could get a series win, against Cleveland, that'll be very good. Very good. Let's go to Sean. Haven't heard from Sean in the past couple of recaps. Let's see what he's got to say.
Definitely the win of the year, and I'll wear the hat of being the bad fan tonight because after Diaz homered, I was off to bed. I mean, I thought that game was a goner, to be honest with you, but give the Phillies credit. I mean, you know, I bash this team a lot, but when they come through and they do some things that I've been preaching on, I got to give them their due. I mean, you saw defense in the late innings. You saw quality at bats in the late innings. You saw Stott with a nice sacrifice bunt. You do the little things, they pay off big in the end. And that's a great win. I mean, Jesus Luzardo, again, didn't have his best stuff. You know, the homer he gave up, I mean, that ballpark is a joke. The fact that that ball went out is ridiculous in and of itself. But he didn't have his best stuff, but he battled and he kept you in it. That's all you can really ask for your starter. But solid sweep, nice to see him get a sweep because it seems like every time they've had a chance to get a sweep, they fall short. But they flipped the script today on to Cleveland.
It's funny, too, when you bring up the ballpark. When I looked at that home run on Baseball Savant after Luzardo gave it up, I was like, oh, it's only a home run in 2 ballparks in Major League Baseball. I wonder what ballparks they are. Yankee Stadium and Nat Stadium. Because obviously that's the Yankees' spring training stadium, and obviously they built dimensions very similar to Yankee Stadium. So, yeah, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. that pretty much makes sense. I wonder if Bohm's home run the other day was basically the similar one. I kind of want to research that. I kind of want to research that just to get some insight there. I want to research that. When did Bohm hit his home run on Tuesday? Was it? I think it was Tuesday. So if I go to Alec Bohm and just see where his home run was, if I go to Alec Bohm, no, his home run was in 7 of 30 ballparks. So Bohm didn't get the dreaded it was only a home run in Yankee Stadium type of thing. He actually deserved the home run, unlike the home run that was hit today in that first inning. But yeah, it was like, oh yeah, that's Yankee Stadium for you. That's Yankee Stadium dimensions for you. Short porch. But I guess the Rays like, oh, thanks. We got a short porch out there in right field. Thank you very much. Yeah, crazy. And yeah, Luzardo's stuff definitely wasn't the best. He still put you in a position to stay within the ball game. Like I said, I really compare his start tonight similar to Christopher Sanchez's last night. So that definitely was the case there. Sanchez yesterday didn't have his best stuff, but he's still, obviously the Phillies put up 7 runs in that game for Christopher Sanchez, so he really didn't have to worry about much. This was more Luzardo having to keep you within the ball game, and Luzardo pretty much did that. It was really just Tanner Banks, and I was very confused with Rob Thompson's managerial decisions there in that inning. I don't know why Tanner Banks even faced Diaz to begin with, and I was kind of in the same boat as Sean, too. I was like, that's probably the game. That's probably the game. The offense looks dead. They're not going to get the sweep here, but nope, they proved me wrong. It was basically, like I switched the game off for a second, but then I was like, oh, okay, I'll just see what they do in the top of the 8th inning, and that situation. Then once I got up out of my desk, they had a couple of base runners on. Bryson Stott's at bat was up, and I was up walking out of the room. I just, I see the pitch to Stott, and I see him crush it. I was like, whoa, and then I go to watch Trey Turner's at bat. I thought that ball was gone. We all did. And, of course, it died at the warning track. Of course it did. course it did. I know Trey Turner hit a home run the other day as well, but freaking baseball gods, give the man a break. Give the man a break. Hello, Shoko. She is still playing with the mouse below me. Her toy mouse. She loves that thing. Let's see. Anything else here? Not really much. I would talk about NHL, but pretty much the Capitals Hurricanes game kind of was boring again. The Capitals did end up winning that one. I don't know. When I watch those two teams play each other, it just doesn't feel entertaining at all. Carolina really dominated the first period, and the Capitals turned it on in the second and third, but still, it just feels like those two teams specifically matched up against each other makes it for very boring hockey. It's just not exciting. Not exciting after any at all. And right now, I think in the background, it's Edmonton versus Vegas, and Vegas is up 1-0. So we'll see if Edmonton comes back and wins another game. I don't know how they're winning fucking with Calvin Pickard in the goddamn net, but they're winning. They are finding ways to win. And also, that was just a fucking insane choke job by the Kings, being up 2-0 in that series. My God. Hopefully the Flyers find their new coach soon. Hopefully they do. Anthony Sanfilippo said on Snow the Goalie earlier today, I would know because I edited it, that he probably wouldn't be shocked the Flyers have their coaching hire by next week. Brought up Firschweiler, brought up Tocchet, also the idea of Tocchet possibly wanting to go back to television. He said that the favorites for Tocchet obviously are the Flyers, Penguins, and the Boston Bruins, so that's interesting there. Also brought up the factor about Pittsburgh with his family living in Pittsburgh, so there's something to that. Also brought up Jay Woodcroft, also brought up Brad Shaw, also brought up the guy that from the OHL that used to play with Danny Briere. I forget his name for a second. I doubt he really isn't much in the running, but yeah, it's more discussions for another day. Honest to God, we could wake up tomorrow and the Flyers hire their head coach. We really don't know yet. We really don't know. But yeah, get to some of you guys in the chat here before we end it off. I know I'm rambling at this point. Yes, Sir Philly, that was awesome. That was very awesome. We definitely needed that Star Wars. Bryson Stott with the old school sack bunt. I knew Sean would love that. Sean's always begging for the old school stuff. About damn time the Phillies got a sweep. I do agree, Michael. Side note from last night, who told Taiwan Walker he was Dennis Eckersley out of the pen? That was sexy from Taiwan, Sean. I needed your pure reaction from that last night. I missed you in last night's stream. I needed your pure reaction to Taiwan Walker dominating, man. That was sexy out of the bullpen. Franco, bring out the brooms. Tyler, a freaking sweep. Can't be mad about that. In all seriousness, we almost pissed this away. Raymond put an end to the talk about trading for Fairbanks. He's Jonathan Papelbon type mental case. Sean says, Luzardo again, keeping you in despite not being the best. Bam Man, Philly's own Edwin Uceta. And same thing, Diaz has reverse split, so that's probably why Banks was still in the game. You live and you learn, I guess. Live and you learn. But that'll do it for today, everybody. I appreciate you all tuning in as always. Honest to God, I didn't expect the game to go so late the way it did. Honest to God. But yeah, had a pretty good overall day. Pretty good overall finish to this game. Now, we have to relax the rest of the night. Like I said, I probably will save the Cleveland series recap probably till after Sunday's game. So most likely, I'll most likely be home from New York on Sunday by the time the game ends or something like that, so I could probably recap all three at once. And granted, like I said, with SmackDown tomorrow and Backlash on Saturday, that's where I want to put more of my focus into. So, like I said, just stay tuned for Sunday and all that stuff. So, appreciate you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to leave a comment and drop a like. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Also, use the code TTPSPORTS, $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. It's a great deal. Do not pass it up. And you can also follow at TTP Sports on TikTok and Instagram. So, thanks, guys, for tuning in. Good series sweep by the Phils. And bearing any breaking news, you most likely will not see a recap tomorrow. So,